I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
One moment of silence, please. Thank you. Welcome to the Troy Township School Corporation work session of the Board of Trustees. Roll call. All members are present. Hannah is on, or not present, but Hannah is on her way. She'll be a little bit late. Adoption of the agenda Wednesday, September 24th. Is there any noted changes?
No.
Do I have a motion?
I think most of these adopted.
Thank you, Larry. There is no discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Communications from the public? None?
No one signed up.
New business.
The only item we have for the work session is discussion with UDA regarding the upcoming proposal or the project, the auxiliary gym. And Jason's already got it up on the screen. This is the last drawing that you guys were given. But I wanted to put the architects in front of the board so they can answer your questions, address finishings, options, alternatives, things like that. So this is really just a discussion between the board and the architects. So I'll turn it over to you guys.
Yeah, we'll kind of tag team on this, but if you guys want, I'll just kind of walk through the floor plan, give a little rundown of that, and then obviously we'll field any questions you may have. So, and if you want to zoom in, or you just tell me to, but in general, we've got a 2-court layout that is going to be directly aligned with one of your main exits off the site. And I can pull up some site information.
Basically the pool exit, correct?
Yeah, we're right. Yeah, the pool is right here, and we're just coming right off that. So the alignment works out well from a site perspective, but one of the main goals that we were trying to get was, we did have a budget number in mind, so that's where a lot of this is square foot driven, knowing your program desires for the most part. And with this concept, we've got a court 1, a court 2, with some shared seating potentially. This could be portable seating or anything in the middle. But we've also got an area here that's going to be a dual purpose. So that will be a full-time court, but also 2 wrestling mats when it's that season. So for that as well, we've got additional storage, sports related storage, and then potentially the mats that when that season is out of the wrestling, those get stored in this storage area here. A small mechanical room, more for likely electrical in that space. And then we've got a new weight room on this northern portion, and some stairs up to a mezzanine that was going to be primarily the mechanical mezzanine that serves the whole gym. So likely a two-duct system, main units up here running down the structure this way. Kind of office lobby area. We've also got another restroom to kind of serve the facility. With this design, I will mention that it was stated that basically this is for PE class and practices, not for major events where people are going to come. And otherwise, we probably have larger restrooms, more seating that's fixed, telescoping seating, things like that. Just for a reference as well, we've got these alternate 1, alternate 2. Let's see that here. So looking at that was potentially one that we could look at for a concessions area that would kind of widen this lobby, potentially have the concessions in that zone. And then another alternate 2, which would add potential for a couple offices that could serve dual purpose. It could be changing room for somebody if they needed to, like a referee if there was something small that had that kind of a need, or it could be for physical therapy or something if somebody needed to get taped up or anything like that. But kind of have a little bit of an option that would be built on this area, just down here. And I can show you other drawings as we get into it, but this is what everything was kind of the starting point that kind of tipped the project off. As we were saying, basically, this is the concept that we're going to move forward with and design, but obviously we want to open it up to make sure you guys are comfortable with everything. And if you got questions, feel free to ask. But from an exterior, we haven't gotten into a lot yet. That's part of what we wanted to wait on, the actual design functionality and the aesthetics when you guys, after we get that final feedback. But we'd be looking at effectively, most likely a masonry band and some type of metal panel above that, say 10 feet up or whatever the number ends up being. So you've got a base that kind of may or may not match the aesthetic of the school, but you've got a lot of masonry, so that could be something that we do there. And then a metal panel that would finish out the top portion.
Now, are you familiar with the concession stand, the existing area between the auxiliary gym and the pool down the?
I've heard there is one in there.
So with this, if you needed to, could use that concession stand, people would go out and go to it.
That's another option. That's right. You could be used
I know a
there.
lot of gyms where they go a lot farther for concession stand, that can be opened up.
And that existing concession stand, if it's adequate, is not very far away.
Right. Yeah, it's closer than a lot of places.
I don't know, unless we were hosting a basketball tournament or some type of tournament that would need that extra space, then probably we would never have both this gym in use for like some type of tournament, and swimming, I guess, would be the conflict, or I guess the existing auxiliary gym.
Right.
So
We typically don't play many games there.
The concession stand that's there, adequate, you could not fit 3 of those tables in there. Two
So
max.
it's really not adequate for if we were to be hosting multiple events to take that into consideration.
Do you think that's money well spent?
You can
From
fit
your
2
AD
people.
opinion.
So you think we need another concession stand? I mean, you know how
I mean,
Perry Central has one for football, basketball, football, baseball, softball, track. And they have sometimes 2 or 3, like baseball, track, and softball going on at the same time.
I mean, that's how we make our money, to pay for our uniforms and stuff like that.
Sure, that's why I guess we're kind of point blank at is would a new one be beneficial?
It would be very nice. I would say that.
You think,
It would be
how many do you think we would be hosting in the AU basketball tournament, same time hosting a big swing meet?
Well, if you put that right there, then I would have the concessions in that lobby and have from swim, have them come out to that concession stand instead of using the other one. It would just alleviate some of
It's that close.
So we probably want to make sure this concession is what we want,
Right.
not
What
just
would you use the
in addition to
existing
when we would use the other space for something else. Then
Such as what would you use the other space for existing concession stand space?
What would I use that space for?
Yes.
I could put like freezers or refrigerators in there to hold products that I could transfer over to the other one.
storage.
Storage.
It's not much bigger than a
I totally agree with you on the wainscoting, masonry up so high, metal the rest of the way. Aesthetically, it'll be okay here. It's the most cost-effective thing. One of the things we talked about, and again, one of our, like all of us rural schools, is population. Right? We're all dwindling. No, everybody's not having 5 and 7 kids anymore, but you don't know what the future holds, and we're trying to alleviate future board issues with dealing with space. When you talked about the utilities in the mezzanine above the weight room, we actually saw, well, one day we may go on the other side and add another one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if the population ever did that. So by pulling all the utilities up into that area, that's more doable being on that end.
Yeah,
Would you agree with
I
that?
would agree with that, for sure. I think this kind of keeps it open for flexibility if anything needed to occur on this side. And then obviously you could address it at that time as well, but it does.
Is that on the south side?
This is on the north side, and I can
That's the
I
student parking
can
lot.
pull up the site plan if
parking
you
lot.
want, I do have that, we'll photo through that.
I don't
a little
know.
bit, but I can get it.
On the two sidelines on the outside, I know the insides would be where your teams would sit with their chairs. The two sidelines on the outside, the top and the bottom,
Here,
there and down below. How much space do we have there? And would it be possible to move portable bleachers in there? I know Crawford County has some portable bleachers.
Try to tap it, double tap it. There we go. At least get a little bit closer.
yeah, so this side, I think it's mirrored on the
If you
other,
wanna
we've
sit-
got 9
Anna?
feet
If you want to sit there so
on
you can see
this
better.
sideline of
Yeah.
the main court. So main court, obviously running this way, we've got 9 feet on this edge of striping. The ends, we've got 8, and that's the same, we've got 7.6 on each of these from a seating standpoint. And that pretty well stays, yeah, we're consistent on our 8s and then our 9 feet here.
9 feet.
Is that adequate?
You gotta stay 6 feet off of the sideline.
Yeah, I can't remember the,
Ours up there is maybe 3 feet.
That's not
Off
bad.
off the side. And Brian Taylor, they're about 3 feet.
yeah, I was gonna say, I think the minimum was 3 feet, but we wanted to give more than that.
So
So,
if you had 4 feet, you could still use 5 feet. That's maybe 3 rows.
It's 3 rows tall. Yeah.
yeah, if you were, had some portable seating or something.
Right.
Are you saying it needs to be expanded north and south?
No, I was just making sure that it wasn't something like 5 feet where you got 5 feet of unusable space. Does that make sense? Because 5 feet would not do you any good. You couldn't get 1 row in on 5 feet. Does that make sense?
Yes.
But if you have,
So if you had 5 feet, it would be 5 feet of unusable space.
if you have 9 feet,
Just did
if
waste.
you have 4 feet and then 5 feet bleachers, wouldn't that be enough for one?
How deep is a football bleacher?
Probably.
We looked down, do you remember? 5 feet? That's what I thought.
That's
We
pretty well-
looked at some, yeah, at Crawford, we looked at theirs in particular, and they were 5 feet.
way out, then they'll talk, but.
Yeah.
So for whatever events we would be hosting there, would not 5 feet of bleachers be adequate, you think?
What's now?
Whatever event we would be hosting there, would not 5 feet of bleachers be adequate?
I would say, with 5 feet, you can get quite a few people, and
You may not
most of
know
the
about
ones
these
that you're
parts.
gonna have in,
Am I correct?
you're not gonna run a high school event in here unless it's
AU or 5th grade, and most of them would just parents.
unless it's like a wrestling tournament, where we need it. But if we did a wrestling tournament, we would probably only use one court and use the other court,
For seating.
as seating.
Well, and other schools we've been to that have, auxiliary gyms, that's typical. Like, you're gonna be standing in a corner, bunched up with,
Mhm.
10 other parents
Right.
possibly.
At Martinsville, remember when it's Team
Yeah.
State, there was like, and they had a great facility.
Yeah.
Like, what were you guys saying, tell me, like, we understand, like, hey, size, this is big enough right now. Looking for the future, right, in case something did happen. Are you saying that in one side, you wouldn't brick it up all halfway, or concrete?
No, what I'm saying is with the utilities on that north, for us, it would be, go back, so the north end, south side, which is this area, correct?
Mhm.
That there is, we're gonna have to run all the utilities in that end anyway, because that's where the mezzanine is gonna be for the HVAC. Water will be down on this. I'm just looking at the future. What's it gonna take?
I agree
Do
with
we
you.
stub it out? Do we add that in there? We stub conduit and leave it? We cap it?
I understand what you're saying, but you're saying though that.
So if you expand it out,
South.
You're talking about south though, not. if you're-
South or east. We go south or east.
Yeah, you're likely gonna go this direction. You
If
could potentially rework something to connect on the south and go through the storage, but
Oh, if you were to add another court, you would go east?
Yeah,
East.
I would think you would come out this way if you're trying to add a different scenario.
Gotcha, yeah, gotcha.
But
It isn't just a court, it's whatever we could,
Yeah, I totally get it, yeah, I was just getting clarification. So, like I said, for the future, just,
Do we know where so we're on the north end where the weight room is, how far is that from the parking lot, or where does the existing pool end up? Basically, is that the sidewalk? Do we know where the sidewalk is?
yeah, that's a great question, I'd like to know too, is how far that end from the north side is from the parking lot, right?
Because otherwise, I mean, that's wasted space, essentially. We boxed ourselves in.
okay, so here's a rough layout showing all of your site, the current floor plan that we were just looking at, and then the approximate spacing. So we've got some ample room. In general, I don't have the dimension handy, but that's kind of where the arrangement is. So this obviously is your pool facility.
But yes, that's not what I was thinking.
I'd say that's back further.
For some reason, I thought it was flush up to the parking lot.
That's what I thought too.
So, real quick, Jason, is where that connector is connecting in, is there not another, there's not another corridor further north?
no. Nope, that's it.
Is that right? Yeah, right here.
Okay, so there's another one south then.
Yes, there's
There's two exits right now.
There's two exits down there, yeah. That looks, is it that far down? I mean, it comes right out by the pool. I mean, it's,
He might.
Yeah, that hallway runs.
This might be a little off. I'm just.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
But
yeah.
Okay.
we're right in that range, and we do have that extra room if we needed to go that direction. You could.
Or you could fill that gap against the masonry wall of the pool.
Yeah, we could leave. I mean, we've got to make sure we keep our exiting there, but you could fill in some of that program.
Oh, yeah,
program.
I'm with you, yeah.
Tony, what'd you say again on that? Is there a side door outside the pool going towards
There's nothing going east, it's going north.
there's something going north, is there anything going west,
No,
east, I mean?
No.
comes out that corner in the hallway.
I got, yeah, okay.
This is the door we're talking
Yeah.
about.
So this dash, you think what I'm thinking?
So that dashed line would be where the door is.
Close that gap.
You've got that.
Jet.
Closer to Tell Street to the.
That feels a little off, but it's right in that zone.
You should save that tire.
This
Well,
was
that's
created
what
this morning. I didn't get a chance to double check.
Here's the door.
What's the
So maybe we should.
The exterior
this way.
wall right
Towards
now?
the,
What's
move
the
everything towards the
construction
parking lot.
You know?
Of this existing,
Yeah.
so it's all masonry with the.
What we have
brick
shown
facade.
here.
Top, bottom.
This whole length.
So, yes, it would be.
So we should come down to actually
Because he's got a
use
little
the existing
sidewalk
exterior
out here,
wall.
as if he was keeping this as an exterior.
Yeah, I would recommend it from a
That's what we're
structure
gonna do,
standpoint.
yeah.
Yeah.
It would go north. I got structure.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend that. And especially if we were to go, in the end, we're not 100% sure whether we may go down the route of a pre-engineered metal building, because you can still skin it the way we're discussing, or an individual freestanding structure. But either way, I think pulling away from that existing structure is your best bet, especially when you consider
Don't you end up
with the heights of these spaces. Yep, there's some there, but the heights of these spaces and relative to this as well, tying that in creates a bigger issue with snow loads. Here, we can pull this volume because this, this box portion will be much higher than this area. So any potential snow loading can be designed for this portion to not worry about it when you're looking at the rest of the structure and the form.
Just had a big red truck moment. Was you here when the pool had to be dug up and all the pipes replaced?
We've done some work,
That
but
was-
not,
I don't think you were
not
here.
all of it.
So that, Jason, that exterior elevation where it's got double storefront, 12 feet tall, like 12 feet wide. We had to come in and tear all that out. We came down the hall, turned where the stainless steel doors go in the pool. We had to tear all that out. Do you remember that? That's how they brought the heavy equipment in to dig the pipes up in the pool.
This is like in 2007,
Yes. You remember that?
somewhat.
It's all the way into the pool. Unless you come down the hallway. Because there's no door access door on the north to get that big of equipment. I'm not saying it'll ever happen again, but I just thought that's what we did. We worked with the contractors. We tore the storefront out. They plywooded it up, brought the equipment through that door, tore that, all that stainless steel had to come out so they could drive the equipment in to dig the pool up. Where the pipes were
Well, the
routed out of
exterior
the
door there on
concrete.
that west side, if you remember.
Yes, sir.
That's all been brick.
We also did that with the gym. Remember that court floor? The wood floor, they come in jackhammer, so if that court floor, it was all concrete. And I remember, I think it was Arnold's.
I'm not trying to throw a wrench in it, I just.
No,
thought
it's-
about
Are
it.
you just saying we can't access that now?
Yeah,
It's a fair point.
We come through there, we can't access any of that pool
Still did
with heavy
that.
equipment.
Adding an access point for something like that, if
We
it
have
was
to
in the
add,
future, or
we
we know that if
Yeah.
that happens again, you'll add it at that time.
we'd have to come in that, either the east or the north wall into the pool.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask, can we not come in the north
Yes.
wall
We can, we sure can.
from the
I
parking
think
lot?
we came in because that's what was available without cutting a hole in the building.
But at this point, it's been bricked up, so we're gonna have to cut a hole either way.
You are correct.
So parking lot's still
Yeah.
an option.
So you could still come in from the auxiliary gym side, because when you come in this door right here, you would come in this door right here, and then there's a storage, like it's a,
The pump room, is that what you're talking
no, it's where all the equipment is, the exercise
Oh,
equipment.
you have to make that.
You could come in this and cut your way through this wall and then cut right here into.
So no matter what, even then, we had to.
You would have to
tear stuff out
cut, but you would be
in there.
cutting
So
into.
even if we did that, doesn't matter, we had to tear stuff out the last time we accessed it, so we'd have to do it again.
Yeah.
I just thought about it.
No, but
I
it's a
remember all of
fair, it's a fair statement.
Tony, but what they did last time is that gym, they went through the student parking lot and went down the hallway.
Mhm.
I'm assuming they do the same thing. That's one way. Now, if you're talking about moving that north, this whole structure north, is that what you're kind of talking about, Tony, a while ago? And I guess the reason they did it, I'm just asking, like, so coming out that door from the left, so when you come into the gyms, you'll be right in the middle.
That's
You won't be
right.
going, I got, yeah, makes
So
sense.
that when you're entering the space, you're left and right, you're right in the center, if there's seating in the center, you're walking straight to that, not across courts, things like that. That's where the positioning came from, for sure.
From you guys' opinion of all the events, is this adequate?
Is it what?
You guys feel this is adequate? Two
Can we
floors,
pull the floor plan back up? or
Yes.
You guys want the site?
the actual new weight room. For our student population, you feel it's adequate?
At this point,
Yes.
I mean, I think two gyms would help tremendously.
And again, I've said it before, they know that I've always felt that the younger kids need to get out of school, into practice, at home, not be in the gym at 8:30 at night. I've always felt that way. I felt strong about it, and this is the only way we're gonna alleviate that. And as everybody suggested, yeah, this opens up for small tourneys, for the youth leagues, and we'll gain that out of this too.
Are we boxing ourselves in the event that we need a future expansion from a school perspective, not necessarily an athletic complex?
Central was in 1980 when we expanded the school, that we had adequate for 1,000 students, and now we have, 600 in. So
Well, it was mentioned at one of the meetings. I'm not saying that
I'm
we're
just
ever
saying,
gonna do that,
I
but
think that's it, we're gonna.
where that's located, we kind of box it, we can't go out as easily. The real estate is not there.
Right, you'd be looking at the different potential. Obviously, you've got plenty of space here, but this from a massing and other exits, maybe utilizing a small area here that's larger than you think when you're comparing it for a classroom perspective.
Yeah.
You can get you could fit quite a few probably at that little location. But it's a fair statement either way, something to consider.
On that same conversation, will the gyms have a garage door entrance? But I know that I've talked to numerous ADs and they've said that's one thing that they absolutely love is the ability to, open up the garage door and
That's like wrestling matches.
pull in whatever they need,
Yep,
So-
we do have one, and I will show you where. So off this area from the south here, we've got a 10 by 10 overhead door. To be able to bring, like, as you're saying, any equipment in and out, just to make it easy of use. As part of that plan.
What's the gap?
Which one?
Like between the existing building and the gym. Yeah, right in there. What
This
is
space,
that?
this right now is just potential for the alternate, one of the alternates, and then landscaping or additional pavement.
No, I'm saying.
What's the space?
How big?
Oh, how big is it? I got you. I'm sorry about that. Couldn't see the forest for the trees on that one. 32 feet, 8 inches.
how big?
32 feet, 8 inches.
But if we did one of the alternates, that goes way down.
It's pretty much this, right?
Correct.
Just on the one
Yeah.
side.
This
Yeah.
portion, we've got about a 12 foot for the alternate, so you're left with around 20 feet.
But on the north, it's all wide open,
Correct.
right?
On the north, it is wide open still.
And so just to verify, that's using the existing hallway. We're going straight in. You walk straight down that hallway. You'll go
So here's
perfectly
your
in
existing
between.
vestibule right here that we're just connecting in, and
You'll go
then
straight in between those.
straight in between the two.
And we need that double egress doors on the south. We still need on this, I'm sorry, south, and then
Yeah, I'm showing, we've got egress doors on the diagonal and then here as well, just to make sure that, say there's a dividing curtain wall here, we've got an exit and exit, and an exit and exit.
and we need both of them going out the north, the double doors.
Yep.
Here at the lobby.
And there as well, yep. Just from yes, you need it, and obviously your site already utilizes it, so we would try to keep that traffic pattern.
And what are the dimensions of that weight room? Can you see that?
Yeah, we 24 feet 8 inside clear. By the full 94 feet inside clear.
So would that take the place of our existing weight room? Or would it be additional,
I would rather it not, but
we'd have two?
and then one could be for junior high and one.
Yeah, and I will note that what we're showing here is just a kind of a space planning exercise. The equipment is all yet to be determined. And then once you guys know how you're going to use each space, maybe you don't have any treadmills in this one, we don't know yet. But once we do get farther down that path and you guys start thinking about that in greater detail too, that's when we'll need to know. So in case we need to coordinate in-floor power boxes, things like that as well.
I don't think there's enough windows in it.
What's the current size of our weight room? Do you know
What's that?
the current weight room size?
We went down and measured it, what was it?
We measured so many times, I don't remember.
I was gonna ask that.
I want to say it was 17. About 17.
Right around 20 feet wide and about the length of a basketball court,
So it'd be a little smaller than this one, so.
80, 90 feet.
Yeah.
It's very comparable to what we've got.
But it feels a little claustrophobic in the old weight room, right, with the concrete above it.
The windows would make a huge difference.
Yeah, you don't have that sloped ceiling to your point, Tony.
Yeah.
This would be a nice level. You're looking at a height, something like this range that's going to feel open. And then all the glazing across that north would
Feels
definitely,
claustrophobic in the
it,
other way.
it wouldn't feel as tight.
And it's very loud in there.
Yeah, those are very real considerations that we can look at too on some sound control panels, things that might come up in that final design detail.
Does anybody have any suggested changes? We talked about alternates are free. I mean, it's not free for them to draw, but for someone to, if there's something we want to look at and say, can you give us an alternate to do this? Now's the time to do it.
Do we want to
Nothing's
look
gonna
at
get cheaper.
three-court gym as an alternate? We're assuming it's gonna be out of the budget?
That is the factor that we studied a lot of different options early on, but then as we started to look at general pricing, so we did our concept designs all based on a range, depending on where this comes in at, anywhere from 300 square foot to 350. And currently, this layout right now, we're looking at 5.65 million to 6.6 million.
With no equipment.
With no
Yeah.
equipment.
No goals. Is that a hardwood floor?
That we do, that that amount.
We have the cords figured, but no goals, no nets, no weight room equipment, nothing.
Right.
Bleachers, electronics, the whole 9 yards.
Floorboards. We have nothing. And
Ross,
we,
what'd you ask, Ross?
But, yeah,
Looking at three courts.
so the concept of that, I think one of those, with that square footage, when you look at the third court, takes us into, I think it was close to 8 million or something like that when we get to that level. And it felt like it was going
And
to blow the budget.
with Senate Bill 1, if we,
94% of the people voted against it.
ooh,
94% voted against it. So that's,
I don't want this.
yeah.
We don't want to delay it for 2 years. I just want to keep us, that's why we're doing this. This is the time to at least get a price. Well, no, it's not that it's in stone. Well, we can't take that alternate. We can't take another.
And,
It'll stop the project.
to that point, like, go back to here, for example, like this door could shift down and maybe if you wanted to put in an alternate for that seating you're talking about, and know what that number is right up front, maybe that's another way to add it. It all depends. There's little things like that you could also kind of piece out little alternates as well.
I mean, alternate 2 coming in, can you blow that up? I can't see the price on that.
So this one,
Lots of colors.
That's if we take the concessions, the restroom.
Yeah.
And the offices.
yeah, so the square footage, if somebody wants to crank the numbers real quick, was 19,281. Well, we've already got it.
That's what I was gonna say. You've got an estimate there. I just couldn't read it.
Yeah, see that on that.
So they were, if it comes in on the high end, we were at 6.75 with that alternate.
So alternate 2 is 6.75, which is only,
That's your guess right now. That would be.
give or take 150,000 more than
Right.
the base plan.
It's a small alternate.
It's a small
but
alternate,
that's- It allows it to be more achievable depending on how things come in, obviously.
Right.
If you guys, do you have a drawing already done that shows the third floor?
The third gym floor.
We have a rough one that shows another layout, if you want.
Which way does it go? And then you rotate the.
We had a few. I can show you, pull it up if you want.
That'd be great.
While you're getting those, did your budget numbers have fire suppression?
Yes, yes.
What's the soil like around here?
What is it?
What's the soil like here?
Oh, hard pan clay. Oh, out there?
Former junkyard soil.
Former
Yeah.
junkyard.
That's what they've always told me is don't go digging
Oh,
over.
as a kid, that's Dobie's junkyard. This whole area was.
Those were all 2 in one plan, or one court plan options.
Was it?
I don't remember, now that I think about it, I don't know if we did draw one with a 3 court.
I thought we saw one at a time.
Yeah, there,
Oh, maybe.
there's one. Oh, that was.
Yeah, this was where we did have like separate functions, so you had a permanent wrestling
Yeah.
space, and we had 2 courts and things like that, so. And that started to create okay, here's another mezzanine with a permanent wrestling, so I don't think,
Up
I
high.
apologize, I don't think we did actually draw a 3-court option.
If you were to do that, which way would you go north-south, or would you go toward the east?
I would want to study that honestly a little bit to see
Based on the-
if rotating it would make more sense.
What you're questioning, like a third gym or a future expansion?
Third gym. And we're gonna know if it's an alternate right off the bat. I'm trying to keep in mind staying under the referendum cost and doing it only as an alternate. Considering we embarked the first basketball goal, the first bleacher, the first volleyball net. When we throw all that in there,
I had
It's
emailed,
not
I think,
achievable
you guys to
for me.
see if that could be done as an
Yeah.
alternate, and I think that the engineering of it became,
I think
It
that,
it definitely can.
because you're designing.
It can, but it would like increase our time by time
I
and a half.
understand. I understand.
So we've done them before where, like, if you go back to your original, the one you're showing,
Yeah, our concept plan.
yeah. So if you're thinking, you know, if we're going in with an alternate and all in on pre-engineered building, we have added bays very easily.
That's what we talked about, future expansion.
But even on an alternate where it would be designed in and we're like, okay, bays 6 through 10 is an alternate bid. There's a whole nother set of plans that goes with that for HVAC, electrical, service, you name it. So you're designing that twice. Now, so we can do that both ways, like depending on if you guys are like, we're good now with this, but we want to make sure we're set up for future expansion for our third gym. It might be where we look at that, or even the whole pre-engineered building versus conventional steel, and even looking at that whole yard area out to the east. Pre-engineered, you know, a building that this, you usually have a bridge down the middle with gutter lines over here and over there. Your expansion is to the south or to the north. And then you're lowering down. So we would look at it's kind of like if the third gym is really on the table, you know, we could definitely do it as an alternate, or we could revise the position of this and study the conventional steel frame and show the third gym as a preliminary level. So if that makes sense, like if you don't put it this way, if you don't want to put the money into all the design up front, we could still plan for the third gym, if that makes sense.
We know what 2 costs, and we'd probably go north if there was space. We can do the math, can't we, and kind of figure out where it's going to be fairly linear as far as 2 gyms is X amount. You add a third, it's going to be 30% more, 33% more.
Yeah, pretty close.
Pretty well. That's the way, I think, when I mentioned it to you,
Pretty
John, that's the way I
high.
ran the numbers, was just strictly, here's
More
your square
square
footage
footage.
now, and here's
Right.
what it's gonna do.
So we would take this,
I don't have
if
that.
we were going north, we would just shift this way to give us more room if it ever happened.
I think there's some up there now to put a third gym, to shift the weight room up, or put the gym on top of the weight room.
Yeah, from a
Okay,
site
but
perspective.
based on that number, the 6 points, well, I used the 6.75 for alternate 2, and I added 33%. It's 8.9, and that's just for the box.
No equipment.
Just
And
for the box,
that throws us over,
8.5,
that throws us into a referendum.
8.5.
And for this, you're not gonna get the economies of scale like you might on a nice pre-engineered warehouse.
Mhm.
That would help you some. This has still got that expense of the court. finishes, the lights, things like that. It seems like a hard stretch.
I think we haven't had a lot of discussion on framing yet, because like Jason said, we wanted to get some feedback. And then depending on what we hear here today is what we're going to recommend for moving forward. So I have a feeling it's probably going to be leaning more towards conventional steel frame. And just keep in mind, any pre-engineered building, you are really limited on future expansion. I mean, you can do it, you know, but we're, like Tony said, it would, if you're talking gyms, it would really go this way or that way. If we're conventional framing, we could, future expansion could go this way. Because we could put, you guys might cringe at this, but the whole thing could have a flat roof on it, you know, like all of the existing. But you might say, well, if we're gonna build a new building, we wanna make sure we got a slope standing seam metal roof. Because you guys know in 20 years, what kind of costs you're gonna start seeing, but maybe 30 years, you get out of all these new roofs you're doing. On like a rolling replacement, you can get a lot longer out of a standing seam metal roof, you know, so that's kind of some of the things to think about. So it might be where we're changing that ridge line or not doing flat roof where the ridge line is here and it's sloping down that way and this way, and you can just keep growing that building to the east as future expansion. Flat roofs are easy with future expansion. It's whenever you start getting the gutter lines sloping down that you get stuck. Or you have interior gutters, which is not good with slope, you know, which you got a lot of that around here now.
A 25% increase comes up to 8.4 million. So, I mean, how bad do we need the weight room and the storage? If we can get rid of that square footage and turn it into court space, then we're not doing a big expansion there. I mean, I guess the question is, do we want to put that into a 3-gym, a 3-floor situation? Is it worth giving up the weight room? Is it worth giving up the storage? Is it worth?
John, Brad, do you think the 2 additional courts would alleviate all of our practice problems right now?
No, just at a meeting, though, they want us to start a cross.
We don't have the kids
I can't imagine, and just my 2 cents in, that this should be more than 20. Now, we talked about this. Part of the problem is, you know, the play coaches, they work, right? They only practice at 5.
Some of them can't get off work till be here for practice until 5.
And a lot of people don't want to stay late. I don't want to keep our kids late, but sometimes we're just going to have to, you know what I mean, share it. But I can't imagine 2 more courts plus 2 at the elementary.
Let's think of it.
4 here. Yeah. 4 here. That's 6 courts, right?
Yeah, I guess we do have the oxygen in pretty close proximity.
And if worse comes to worse, we still have the Shirters if we had to. I mean, I don't want to go back there size wise.
You're redoing the floors at the Shirters, aren't you?
It's done.
Making them look pretty.
Did we pay for that, or did the city?
I paid for it.
At 7 gyms, I don't know, that's a lot, in my opinion.
I'm worried to death about this. I don't want to be the test case for Senate Bill 1's referendum.
It's
gonna throw us off. If we do go up, if we get that, it ain't gonna happen in our 10 years.
At this point, I think
If
if
you
you
wait-
drop the 3rd gym option, right? Just based on budget restraints and what.
Well, even with this design here, like I know we're talking about a utility floor there on the south side, but the wrestling, I don't think that they're wanting to utilize this. If they don't have to.
Yeah,
They
wrestling-
want to stay where they are, so that's it's 2 courts full time.
Wrestling has said straight up that if they can't have a confined space of their own, that it's not workable for them. They don't want to practice out in the open. They want to practice enclosed.
So there's too much noise between the wrestling and the basketball going on at the same
They want
time.
hot, they want
They want
sweaty, they want all together.
Control, yeah.
They want to be.
I get I was surprised when I said it, but then it makes sense what you're saying.
So it's two full-time, it's courts pretty much all.
Yeah.
All.
That actually alleviates some other issues we were looking at today. From, how do you get the mats in, how do you store them, what type of mats we're looking at, so.
Do we still need that?
Still want to store them.
We still want that because in case we host a tournament or something.
Yeah, but still,
From a storage standpoint?
Yeah.
get them in and out, yeah, we like, if that's
We have mat
possible.
storage in the oxygen.
But if you ever want to have a tournament, get in and out. Nice. Like
So you
said,
still might have a tournament in one of these.
Yeah, there still could
Would
be
be
potential to,
They
Yeah.
put big tournaments here.
Yeah.
Big tournaments.
but it won't be out every day is what they're getting at. It's not gonna be something that's just
Right.
left out. There'll be two
And
gym floors
that
added to the.
still relates to the comment, just we'll have to find a good solution that's, okay, let's back it up and move it in, so.
Right.
You store them in there, or would you just?
But where they're at is not gonna be very far from this gym. I mean,
It's not that big.
They're literally,
And they're all
if you put this to perspective, they're right here. All of the mats are stored right here. So you just come out this door and go straight down the hall. And it's literally probably 80 feet down this hall.
We're going farther than that, and then we moved them from the auxiliary gym. Right, take it.
Right. You're moving them way farther to go.
So
Right, take it.
it can be done.
You still say we still need that storage for wrestling that.
I think you might need it for other stuff, but,
Yeah.
but to your point, if it could stay there, that'd be great that way.
I'm gonna shrink it to gain that bleacher space,
Right.
the rolling bleachers.
Yep.
That's what I was saying.
It's only 10 feet wide as it sits, so.
Yeah, it's pretty,
Not
it's
much, you're right.
pretty narrow.
Okay.
now is this gonna be all open? Because when we went and looked at Crawford County, they have this whole space open for storage and it's awesome.
Currently, we've only got
Awesome.
these two partition walls here, the edge of the electrical, and then this other more specialized storage. So technically though, if you did need that, you can open this wall back up unless structural tells us some reason we can't, but we can probably put pilasters and stuff in there to make that.
And that's where they
They
put their garage doors here too. So they can roll their.
That was another thing. What we
So
were
they
talking
can
about
roll their bleachers in and out
the
easily.
larger mats for these two, we were gonna update. It may even be shown on a different plan, but that may go into an overhead door, just a smaller one.
So everybody satisfied where we're at with what they brought to us? No changes?
I think that was
Alternate one and alternate two. And we could always, as you said, we could always pull that partitions out and make that storage wider or deeper, whatever you want to say it. And switch that double doors to a roll-up door for the bigger carts for the mats. It would be nice to have it clear instead of trying to prop two doors open.
Did you have those other designs? I brought them, the ones that we looked at,
Which others?
that included like the separate weight room and all that, just to show them costs and comparisons.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't have to,
Where I pulled them up real quick.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah.
yeah. Just so we could see like some pricing information and that kind of stuff.
So I think more comparable was. Okay. So that was a similar arrangement here.
Yeah.
This was some of the larger ones.
Yeah.
So this is when we got the standalone space. For example, so we had and this could obviously go anywhere, but the weight room was located on the south and a completely private wrestling space. When that one was coming in at 7.92, and that's based on that 350.
Right.
Does that reduce the size of the weight room quite a bit?
It did. Not, I don't know about quite a bit, but it was a smaller.
It is a
Footprint.
bit smaller, yep. And then these options here, these are in that same 7.09 here.
That's a cool layout right there, though.
I will tell you, we're in the middle of our insurance renewal, and they're telling me that for school building replacement, they're calculating at $350 a square foot. So your high end is what insurance is telling me they would expect to have to pay to rebuild a building in an incident. So those, and once again, that's just the box.
And that's
not
why
filling it
we're
up.
trying to, you know, we're bookending it and hoping it comes in lower,
Right,
but obviously we want to base our design around that higher end just in case.
right,
So,
absolutely.
So does option 6 basically just eliminate that 30 feet between the buildings, or some of that 30 feet?
it is a little bit more narrow here. I think this was trying to represent the existing exit. It was a little less refined as we move forward, so these are a little older. So it's a little more narrow there to that point, and then this had a second mezzanine over this area, and the stairs up, and an elevator, and a lot of cha-ching with that.
They didn't disappoint with options.
If I was gonna choose one, 5 would be the only other one I'd want to know. So, is that what you're saying, Ross? Did you like?
Like that layout. Is the current wrestling room an issue?
As far as I know, they wanted more space, but we made it fun. So, I know at one time, they were wanting to expand into the classroom next door. That would be an option, you know, stay where they are and expand if they need more room. If their numbers, you know,
If it
Are
came
that
to the point
right?
where we needed it, I think that would might be a better option.
but yeah, they need low ceilings, they need, you know,
That's a
some time.
$50,000 to $60,000 option to expand to another room versus.
Well, it's a-
this could be $1 million.
Yeah, and it's a remodel versus adding money to something that's got a cap on it.
Right.
Yeah.
This would be a separate project because it's not tied to this, so there wouldn't be that add to it. I don't know how much room they need, to be honest with you.
And it depends on their numbers, you know, we had a full roster platform, so we had 17, 18 last year.
Mhm.
That was a pretty big team for us, so we were probably at our max, in my opinion. Somebody talked to Coach Joe recently about the size, about the size of the room, if he was satisfied with it or not over the last few years, or is that somebody else?
He's never really complained about not having enough.
He told me if you got 25 wrestlers, you might not have enough, but again, when's the last time we've had 25 wrestlers?
I don't know if we ever have.
And honestly, the way the numbers in every sport are going, I don't see it getting much bigger.
Well, it's matching our enrollment. I mean,
Right.
Right.
I mean, our numbers everywhere across the board. I mean, we're not the only school.
It's not just us. It's
Numbers are dwindling quickly, and they're wanting us to add more sports. They keep.
and that's why I wanted Jason to show you guys this. We looked at lots of different options to try and do everything we could.
And then as we started reconciling budget numbers, obviously that's where we landed in.
We can't go poor trying to get the box done.
Right.
We still gotta push it out.
And, you know, we all get why they put that in the Senate bill. We understand it. We look at some of these schools, they spend a lot of money, but they have a lot more AV. They're a lot larger communities. And so I get that. They're trying to get a grip on that. I just don't want to take the chance. Nobody's going to get everything they want unless every sport gets their own facility. We can't afford that. And whatever we can do to make it easier, more streamlined, more kids out of here earlier, it's got to be an advantage. That many gyms.
Were you able to find out any of the right-of-way information in that lot? I know we talked about getting with the city.
Street easement side of things yet, we're still investigating that.
Still working on that.
On that yet.
Mhm.
Obviously, that's gonna be something we will definitely dive into.
Right, and if we run into something like that, where there's sewer line going
Yes,
through or
if
something
it
like
was
that.
abandoned in place.
Mhm. How extensive does that get dollar-wise? I mean, does that move the building? Does it At 500 grand, I mean, what is the,
If there's like a utility infrastructure
Mhm.
running through there, we rerouted them all the time, and even vacating a street in the existing easement that's been hidden in a deed for eons.
Mhm.
I don't see that being an issue
Okay.
with this.
You know how much cost it would add to it, though, but
It's hard to say, like, say you got we don't believe, because sanitary runs down this road, and is it 12 or not 12? Yeah.
Tell and Fulton?
Because we communicate a little bit with a surveyor looking at some data, and from what we can tell, obviously we got to look into that and do some private locates, but say there is a sewer line running through there. The fact that we got mains down this street and that street, I don't see why that would even be in there. And if we have to reroute a water line, that can always be rerouted around an addition. It's not 500. It's, maybe got to move a 6-inch water line or something. We could get into this is a big swing, but 50 to 100.
Cause this was a city street, 77, right here.
Well, that's the thing.
I think they've all been vacated for your property, but if they haven't, we wouldn't be the first street we vacated in Hell City. Where we found that, this is still here, and
Right.
we go through the steps and they grant it, they vacate it.
I just didn't know what that entailed and what kind of cost it might add.
Yeah, I wouldn't be that worried about it now. I'm gonna knock on some wood. Because we talked about it a lot, and talked to a few other people without giving details,
Mhm.
trying to figure out what all was going through there. And there were streets, and it was more. Well, eventually we gotta do like a property search on it and just see what surfaces, but which is kind of the next step. I mean, as we move out of the preliminary phase, once you guys, because that doesn't mean we can't tweak. I think it's the overall option 1 through 7, which one are we heading towards? And then we start the process of kind of design development. So this is schematic design. Design development is finding out more high-level items and make sure we don't find the $500,000 item
Right.
before we put a ton of money into engineering.
Well, Jason, Brad, I think you kind of got our feel for it. We want to stay under the referendum cost, and this may be the only way to do it. I don't think we have any other additions, do we?
So maybe pull up the plan we started with here that,
Thank you.
it ultimately starts with this is obviously why we're here with Jason presenting that. So it's like moving on past this, if you're like, okay, we like the 2 courts, we like coming into the middle, we like the weight room size. If there's anything small, like as far as entering in between, the little stuff, like, we'd like a set of double doors, like instead of a door with a side window, like make that more of a inviting entrance coming in to that lobby area. That little stuff we can tweak through design development. But this footprint with these 2 alternates is kind of what we need to know to go into the design development phase and not I don't know how to say it best, waste any money, design money for you guys.
Admin, I feel this is adequate, covering our bases.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at, what would it cost if we added 5 feet on, and let's say we made the weight room a little bit bigger, or whatever.
Or made the space for
You're
bleachers a
talking
little bigger.
$158,000,
And
for 5 more feet.
But it matters now because of engineering.
Yeah, and that's a great point to make, hearing you guys talk about, okay, we got 9 feet from the court to the wall, and we're gonna try to fit 5 foot of bleachers in there.
Yeah,
If you feel that's too
I
tight,
think we should add 10 to 15 feet this direction.
Yeah,
or that
like-
direction.
we want a large scope creep, but them items, I would say, let's go for it and value engineer somewhere else. Like, get the space you need without telling us a third court. But if this is the general layout, and you're like, okay, we want a little more space for bleachers on each north end and south end of the 2 courts. And I'd really like, because I was counting ceiling tile, and it's basically from this side of the doors, kind of double that, is your weight room. And it's like, you need to visualize, is that comfortable? Because that's the big thing. Once this thing starts to go in the ground and somebody stands in there, it's like, oh, we're putting up a $6 million building and we're not, this weight room should have been 500 feet for $150,000, $200,000. I think we look at maybe getting space and doing some stuff, keeping it pre-engineered because that might keep costs down. The different type of wall panels, which I'm sure we want to look at.
Yeah.
We can put as much gingerbread on this thing as you guys want. If you want it just to really blend or look economical, or if you want it to be like some of those field houses that we see people are putting up nowadays.
And that's all part of that our next push, obviously, is to Brett's point. We're going to start developing more detailed elevations and then get into renderings. Once you guys say, yep, this is the plan, we're good to go, then we start developing our renderings and letting you guys visualize a lot more.
John, did you say this weight room would be bigger than our current one?
It's very similar to what we have right now.
A little bit bigger.
The length is similar, and then the width was about 8 feet or so wider, I think. It was
8 feet wider.
I think you were at that 20.
Whatever it is, I think.
But it is
It's a little bigger, so I think it would be adequate. Maybe
Just
have
about
a
right
lot of
now-
space for
right now-
bleachers and.
When you have racks on both sides, the kids that are waiting are in the middle, and then it becomes congregated in the middle. It's kind of hard for
We've added
It's kind of hard for a teacher or a coach to stand on one side and see all the way down.
Well, it's a little dangerous too, having lifting weights with that being that close to each other.
Yeah.
That's not the best scenario. Drop a dumbbell or whatever. I think we should consider putting a little extra space in there for whatever we want to use it for.
I agree. We would like to expand between the floors and the weight room 10 feet. That gives us plenty of room for 3 to 4 rows of bleachers. And that we meet that spacing. If you want to add 2 or 3 feet to the weight room, we're already 8 feet bigger than what we are now. Add a couple more feet, so add 15 feet to the overall depth of the building. Covers everything. Is that fair? Is that too much? It's not
Or
enough?
if we start expanding north or south, then do those spaces become unusable for an additional floor? I don't know how.
I don't have an answer for that.
We can look at that. We can show future expansions of more based on this layout. Say you guys are like, okay, this is it, but we want to see 5 extra feet on the south side of the south court, 5 extra feet on the north side of the north court, and 5 extra feet in the weight room. We'll tweak that site plan and think about the structure and where 30 years from now, a future expansion or 15, whatever it might be.
Yeah, if you could provide us some top-down information, what it looks like from the top with regards to where the existing sidewalk is, where the existing pool building, all that.
Yeah.
That would help us make that decision, which direction we would go if we expand, or if we want some additional space now or in the future.
We can definitely do that.
Yeah, because planning for future expansion is huge, especially for an entity like this, because you never know. It's even how we're bringing in utilities, so the next go around, we're not moving the sanitary line we installed.
Yeah.
You know, because we'll show that and even plan out and possibly even show like on our next round of renderings and exterior building elevations of how that would go,
How to tie in.
how to tie in.
It's big, that's a huge deal.
Yeah.
A lot of money spent on making stuff work. You know,
Oh,
we
yeah,
plan now.
That's huge.
I know it sounds, I mean, what do we, I can't see those numbers. Per square foot, what are we saying, 350?
Yeah, 300 on the low end, 350 is the high end that we have budgeted with.
And this sounds like small potatoes, but going 15 feet taller times 100 feet wide is 1,500 square feet. Times 300, we're at $500,000 just by adding 1,500. Like this, and that's coming from something. We're going to lose the nice goals or the nice nets. So, you know, like, if we have a finite amount of money, every little bit is going to count.
Right now, if we took this drawing with alternate 2, we're at 675. So if we added that 15 feet, would you say $500,000?
It's 450 at a minimum.
So $500,000, so we're at 7.25. That leaves us $1 million to fill it up and to deal with anything we find when we dig in the ground. I mean, that's,
Seems reasonable, honestly.
So,
but that number comes in, and if it changes, I mean, that means we give up buying something with this money. I mean, understand we can't go over that number. So we have to move something, and it does cost something substantial, or the drop-down goals that are $60,000 today are $75,000 tomorrow when we buy them. So we gotta be willing to say, okay, we're not putting scoreboards up, or something along those lines.
are we asking too much to make it an alternate?
I'm not saying don't add the 15 feet. I'm just making sure we're all processing what it does.
Maybe we can only do 10.
Every inch is going to count, literally. It's not to maximize what we get.
That's right. I mean, ultimately, when we were studying all the old, it was like, it's, you had a square foot, you had costs.
We were doing a lot of whittling on.
I have run them through the ringer. There's no doubt about it. Every time they send me an email, I would
We're
tell
probably
them.
not,
Oops.
we're not adding gym floors, so not in hardwood floors and that kind of special stuff. Maybe not the high bay lighting or whatever, but it may not be exactly the same cost because you're adding concrete floors if you're adding to your storage or your.
And I'm uneducated about all this. Like, what are the next steps? We put this out to bid and we just find out.
They got finished drawings.
They finished the
Yeah, we send it out. We just
Not for
we
construction,
start
but for
crossing
bid.
fingers at that point. Hope for the best. Hope for good numbers.
We have to have the finished product to bid.
Okay.
Yeah, there's,
How long does all that take? I mean, obviously, I know you guys know this way better than me. But
it would, but if you're like, this is it, and we go in and start developing the exterior, this is gonna go a lot quicker than if we had a big alternate or something. Because once we figure out the structure, right, Jason, it's like which way we're going with that. It's a box, but it's a big box. Mechanical systems and everything. So what do you think? You know, we gotta look at our schedule too. But it's one.
You're not at my beck and call.
Huh?
You're not at my beck and call.
Why don't we just add a little?
I would say
Each area, whatever that ends up.
there's probably, wouldn't you guess there's at least 4 more meetings with this group going through design development, construction documents before we're ready to bid?
Yeah.
I mean, we're presenting, there's gonna be that many levels of phases, so going to bid in April. Knowing how things go. But if you're like, I wanna go to bid January,
Yeah,
we just have to go look at it.
that's where I want to be. I like the heating and air I did too, if possible. We want the heating and air going.
I know.
Is that unreasonable to ask?
I know maybe April is a stretch, but I know how a project this size can stretch out a little bit.
We can't get in your way, basically, what you're saying. with
Well,
design
that's-
changes, and we need to get.
That's what I'd say. If you want to add that 15 feet, we need to do that now. Knowing full well where it goes.
Yeah, because we don't want to keep going back and
Hang
forth.
on.
Yeah,
Money
I mean,
to them
we all
later.
know 2 weeks goes like that. Next
Mhm.
thing you know, it's like, oh, we have a revised plan and then we've lost a month. Now we're into November and then we're going through holidays. And by the time we're really working on construction documents, there's a lot of engineering that goes into a building like this. So yeah, I'm looking at February, but we could see how much quicker we could make that happen. Like today, if you're like, that's it, give us exterior ideas, come back with a site plan, show us future expansion. We're kind of moving into design development.
Right.
And that helps. But we also know this is a big deal. So it's gotta be right for you guys.
I do agree with that. At 10 feet, just do it. We,
2 feet,
I just,
2 feet on each.
we've all been in there and
Extra
sports,
2 feet in the center.
the basketball games, the rest of it, we're all cramped against the wall. Let's just add 10 feet to it and be done with it. From the weight room across the whole floor, depth wise.
Just 10 feet total.
10 feet total.
10 feet here to here.
You got it. Just give us that extra space.
Well, I think including the weight room, right?
Just think,
Just whole building.
Or the whole thing, so like 2 in the weight room, 2 at the top court, 4 in the middle, 2 at the bottom, is that what Derek's saying?
I think that's a,
that's
right, for what we're trying to do now, I think that's a
We're
good.
already 8 foot wider.
You're getting
than
an
the
educated
existing
guess.
building, correct? We're already 8 feet deeper in the weight room, right? So we're talking about adding 10 feet from this point to this point, just to give us that extra space for parents and coaches between everything. Is that unreasonable?
I don't think we're 8 feet wider than the weight room.
I don't think so either.
We're like 5.
5 feet wide.
Let me ask you this, Jason. Does it matter if we say just 10 feet wider where that weight room wall ends? That's what's gonna really drive us to the spacing. Right?
Yeah.
If we say, well, give us 4 more feet there, 2 more feet there is that really gonna change much? Just a matter of moving a wall.
If you were to say, you're saying you could come back later and say, hey, we really studied this, now we want to move the weight room a little bit and add to it, that's probably reasonable. In general, I'd say, now we want to try to keep our structural spacing consistent, so that's where sooner rather than later would still be great there, but.
Can,
So
can
add
we
2
get
and
someone to
10.
measure the weight room and let us know?
I can go do it right now.
So I know we've done it 13 times. So
Be a good idea, write it down.
go ahead. Yeah. Please go do it now.
I'm not running.
Well, and I was gonna ask, while everybody's here and we're talking about like, okay, let's see what we can get. You guys have a thought on the exterior design, like, you have a feel for any of that too, so.
Split face block with cap, metal cap, and steel, vertical steel. So you don't like that?
No, that's totally fine. I was just gonna say that's identical to Honeybird's up the other gym that they built.
I mean, cost wise, it's gonna be good, right?
24.
Yes, that is,
It's gonna be a lower cost than brick, it's gonna last.
yeah, that's an,
I couldn't expect to treat it.
definitely. And that doesn't mean one, a corner or something.
No, I'm talking about the whole facade, 10 to 12 foot wainscot.
Yeah,
Looks.
right.
You agree with that?
I got a question, just because Jason's still.
Yeah, I mean, we're not
into
gonna
it a lot
match
more
the
than
existing
me.
bricks, so you don't wanna introduce.
So everybody understands.
I know. We're not gonna match it.
And that starts to look bad. We have, every building has different.
Opinion?
Exterior finish.
Split face block, 10 to 12 foot wainscot, and then vertical steel above it.
So this is a stair, obviously. You were putting mechanical up here, so this would be full height. Correct. And then what about above this?
Now, that could be different, that is, there's no need for full height there, so that could
It'd
be
be a
something.
bump out with shed
Shed roof, that's right.
That's a savings.
Because this is a big space for mechanical.
It is, and I think it was 5 feet smaller, then I think we got some direction to bump it up a little bit bigger so that that weight room was bigger there too.
That's what I think. I think they're gonna come back down and say it's 20 feet wide in that weight room, and we added that to this one to make this.
Thought that was what I.
It's been a minute,
It
yeah.
looks a lot bigger to me.
It's been about a year ago when we walked it, but I think this is bigger, but we'll find out.
I'm sure it is, because that was a hanging point with Chris, and I think in the original design, the weight room we designed was almost identical in size to the one we have. He wanted bigger.
So this would be about 5 feet.
Deeper.
So I got a question, knowing your property,
Mhm.
do you feel like any side of this building would be more of the front? Is the parking lot to the north?
I would think that that's gonna get the most exposure.
That's where most people are gonna come in.
I mean, that's where we're gonna park people when we're going to this thing, that's where it's gonna be, so. That's why I kind of expected it to be all the way up to the sidewalk. I see what you've done now and get that.
But, well, what I'm getting at is,
Well, I wonder if you're getting at what I'm getting at. Go ahead and say it.
this thing can be mirrored
Mhm.
pretty easy, whether that's right or wrong. We pick a point right here and things mirror and it's pretty much the same thing. So I'm trying to visualize, do we need that much space for mechanical up there? We can save a ton of money by doing rooftops and, I just don't know if that was all really vetted out yet.
We did talk about the potential of rooftops, and then I think it became, let's keep it inside because we were looking at that north being more visual. So that's where we landed on, let's hide it, and we'll have to do something to dress up that facade. Kind of market.
Because
I mean,
I see what you're wanting to lower that end down too.
well, the tall unit could be from here, here to there, shed roof, and this is some nicer looking glass with metal roof up. I just don't know.
yeah,
I'm not
no.
stealing
When we
the
haven't,
architectural design here, but it's,
we haven't truly studied it yet.
You're
It's
right.
all fair. So-
yeah, that's what we need to work through yet. And once he starts getting into the visual design of it, it's like, there's a lot of space right here with a lot of air, which if you're gonna build that, you almost could put mechanicals in the quarter of it and utilize that second floor. Like that's how much money you're putting in that second floor.
Yeah.
So
It's gotta be concrete.
So that could be changing rooms maybe for referees or storage area or.
storage, but what was that all included in the square footage? Because it
Yeah.
definitely would be square footage, if that's what we're talking about.
Right.
90 feet.
Like, otherwise, we need to plan that to be a single story roof structure and try to figure out where else we put the mechanicals, whether it's a mezzanine just above this, if that's wide enough, you know what I mean? And then it's like, if they have outdoor units, it's not on the pretty side, which I think that could you could make that work.
I agree. You could do it in a fenced in area with covered fence on this side.
Yeah, if that's, the south is considered the back of house,
It is.
Mhm.
Then
Basically.
I just want to watch because all of a sudden this big area right here becomes bar joists with a 4-inch concrete slab
On top of it.
and that much exterior panels, that much, so, and that doesn't mean, Jason, that it's a slope for like just a portion of it is mechanical and the rest is attic. It's going to play into the next phase of what are we going to make this thing look like? Yeah. If that whole upper floor was considered mechanical, then that needs to be considered square footage.
Yeah, and I will say this too, if we get vary on how we use this and our occupant loads go up, we'll likely be required to have 2 exits, so 2 stairs. Now you can easily mirror it and make it work, so that's not a problem, but you don't know where that lands.
So based on your original plan here, if it was solely mechanical up there and these guys didn't have a use, I think it needs to be looked at as a single-story roof structure. Would you?
I think we could definitely get that.
That's what you're thinking, right? That's what you're in the north.
Yeah. Yeah,
Showing.
so that it could go, we're gonna make it look a little better than that. But no, exactly, Tony, but you can do some neat stuff with, with all that big glass, it'll look like,
The end of the.
it has something that is not just the big metal box.
Mhm.
And that's what they all look like, a big metal box.
Right, like, that's the front inviting part of it, you know. I just don't, if there's not if we're just thinking mechanical up there, we'll study that a little bit.
Potential savings.
It was 23.2 by 97. How small we
So
thought.
it's not where you're at, what, 25.
Yeah, I mean, it's nearly identical to that proposal. That proposal's 1 foot wide.
We're 24, yeah, we're 1 foot wide, so.
That's it.
Then you'd have half as many people
It's
using
always
these if they
bad.
had both weight rooms,
Bad.
right?
2 foot
Keep that away.
and 10 foot.
Not at one time.
Not at one time.
Throughout the day, like a high school class is still 25
Today.
kids.
Right.
I like that.
Yeah.
So it's 2 foot to the weight room, 8 foot to the overall 2 floors.
I very honestly don't think you need any in the middle. I would not, as far as
Between the two sides,
I wouldn't.
potential bleachers.
We were talking
Or
about
a
here.
seating system.
I think we're fine here. Our concern's coming back. We're here,
Yeah.
in the weight room.
Yeah.
Weight room, you can see.
And 2 foot to the weight room, 5 foot to
Is
the
that
floor.
enough? Or 2, 4, and 4.
There you go.
What they're saying to you is they want to add 5 feet to the weight room.
That's what you got.
That's what they're saying.
4
Three,
to
three.
space?
4, 3, 3. No, I don't think
4 to weight room, 3 to top, 3 to
It's-
bottom.
so. Yeah, if you want to do that,
That's
where you're
that's
going.
more than an answer.
I mean, now.
You're right.
4, 3, and 3.
It'd still be 10 feet.
I would
Just why we put it.
understand.
I agree with that, Tony, what you just said.
Tap it or something, yeah.
So we're giving us 3 feet extra for bleachers on north and south courts.
Make sure I understood you guys correctly. So the 3-row bleachers takes up 5 feet.
They said about yay tall.
And that's about as many as we're gonna need.
So by the time you have a person sitting there with knees hanging out, you're only left with 4,
Right.
the way it is.
Right.
That's why you're wanting to gain some more space there.
That's what we're talking about. Three of the referees went down side line there.
So what would be the ideal dimension? I would figure 6 feet for the bleachers. By the time somebody's sitting there with a kid sitting on your lap, like that happens to me.
Probably 10 feet between the wall and the line.
So 10 feet.
If that's what, if you were looking to put a 6-foot bleacher in there, counting person, and then 4 feet between the playing floor and them, right? Is that what you want?
We're saying if we added 2 feet, it'd be 11.
Yeah, so I was making sure we're all on the same page because based on your numbers, we only need
What
to
is
have
it
a
right
foot
now?
on each end.
Because we have 9 now.
We got 9 now.
Yeah,
So go 1, 1.
So 4, 5 on the weight room, then we'd be under the 10, we'd be like at 6.
So, which will be lower cost because if we do the shed roofs, it's not like building onto the main structure.
correct. We make this one 10,
Mhm.
make the other one 10,
And, yeah,
and then you want
I would say at least
4. That's why I'm making sure.
we won't do the.
So we're adding 6 foot to the building.
So you're needing 30 from 24? 24.8 to 30?
It's probably gonna work out better for the structure.
That's a good point.
I'm positive.
The most room we're adding is not on the most expensive part of the building.
Correct. If you're making that 30, it's really gonna make a big price difference. That's not the option you're talking about. You go from 25 to 30, that's not that much more wasted space above that as well.
Right, yeah, so we were discussing, you guys that were out measuring that, I was asking this whole, the stairs here, the plan was this whole thing had a floor on it for mechanical, that is a huge space. Like, not a fraction of that is needed for mechanical, you know, a quarter of it. And so it's like, depending on how the structure lays out, this could be the high wall and with nice windows, the north being your desired front to the building, that this would be some kind of roof structure coming into this high wall, that even above that roof could be signage, you know, and make that front entrance look, because, and then we figure out where we put the mechanical somewhere else, so we're growing some space, saving money at the same time, and,
Good thinking.
and obviously Jason's got to work his magic and make it all look good, but I think giving a little bit of not just a big metal box it's going to be impressive on that north side and really bring some costs down.
Yeah, I think it will.
Yeah, I like
It'll help to scale the context.
I think windows in the weight room, maybe help to get some gear in there working out too.
Are there any security concerns with the windows?
Well, we could get riot glass or something like that, but
it would be no different than the rest of the school.
that, yeah,
They want in, they come, they just break it out.
Well, mine
You got this
was
whole thing right here is glass.
people being able to see in,
mhm.
standing in the parking lot.
You're
I don't know.
more
Going a little extreme here, but just, I don't know.
Privacy of things.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was a little bit of the discussion at Forest Park when they did their big weight room, because you can, the road is like from here to the marksman signs on them windows, and you look right in there and you drive by. But I think everybody calm down, because it's not, you know, I don't know. So I understand your concern, but drive through Ferguson, you can drive right down the road. It might even be closer than that. You can look in that whole weight room.
Well, and we have space between the sidewalk and where the building would be, so we could put some balusters up so it can be driven into or anything like that.
Yeah, and then you've got opportunities for landscape that could screen, but then you could still see some,
Right.
like if you want that energy of the building, like that's part of that maybe too, but so there's options with the remaining space that.
The question, Hannah, is, would that weight room be any different than this hallway right here?
Well, you can avoid this hallway if you want to, you know.
Right, we got kids walking down that hallway.
It's different than walking, putting weight
Right.
and failing in front of, people walking.
Mhm.
Right.
I see what you're saying.
Sometimes they'll, like the past said, goes up, sometimes it's a distraction. They go through, hey, what's going on? Okay, guys, get back to work, you know.
But if we need to, we can cover those windows with like a non-see-through, like that window right there, you can see through, but not the other way. There you go.
Oh, I like the graphic, yeah.
We could do something. We felt like we could.
They'll always be able to see out,
There's definitely,
the dot matrix film.
Yes, sir.
those are really cool.
You were dealing with high schoolers. I just
Mhm.
envisioned the girls working out in there and the guys walking down the sidewalk, you know, and.
It'll be nice.
Or someone else.
I thought you were talking safety.
That's what I thought.
Safety.
Yeah.
Guy does fall in
Safety wise, it's no different than this right here.
That's why I said riot glass.
They're,
Yeah, I wasn't worried about who they're seeing, I was worried about how they were getting in. But I get you now.
Be a huge distraction. And I don't know, youth foul or whatever. Girls, guys.
just a thought.
They're students, they'll stay focused.
Yeah. 16-year-old boys, yeah.
Have a lot more traffic in our parking lot, is what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah. And maybe unwanted guests, you know,
Mhm.
All right,
just a thought.
thank you guys so much.
We can address
How long it would take to build this after it goes to bid.
And if we didn't do this, we'd regret it.
This is pretty simple.
We want to
I'd
have
say
all
10
men
to
back
12
and forth.
months. When you think that would,
Construction time.
what do you think, Tony? I'd say 10 to 12 months. And that will
Complete?
That will depend on
Depends on how long you gotta wait for the glass.
the type of construction.
Still on.
But yeah,
So on.
that would be my, it depends on the market at the time too. You might get if you leave it open to get your best price, meaning like on our bid forms, when can you start, when can you finish? Or we have told people you have to start now and you have to finish now, that just drives cost up.
Right.
And we're not affecting school being open.
Yes,
That's a big deal.
That's one thing that is you got going for you here, because like, a lot of the school projects that cannot, they have to slam them in 2 months, and that's really drives costs.
Our only concern is the exiting, and that could be temporary corridors can be set up. That's very manageable comparatively.
I would like the north side to be
Pretty.
Yeah, and that's what I would,
I want it
back
be
to that
somewhat proud
point,
of.
it can be a special metal panel to that
Yeah,
north
I'm
side,
thinking,
and everything else around the back could be totally different,
Right.
but still complementary. So
I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but like, logos and stuff, or signage.
Well, I would love to see the script marching at the very top of it.
That,
Up above the shed.
because that's, we're gonna,
that's
like
what
that, we'll be
start
in the
coming back
renderings,
with.
and we wanna start showing you some stuff to get excited about.
I would love to see that.
So that is like.
Of course.
Or,
Opinion?
No, I want it to be Tulsa.
Yeah.
So I want people to know
That one, to look good.
who we are when they pull up.
Absolutely.
So we can, I've got a folder full of logos, designs.
yeah, if that's something you can email Jason,
Yes.
cause our graphics
I'll email
person
him
is gonna,
That'd be helpful for sure.
it might play into what he does with some kind of panel and all that cool stuff, cause if you do a project like this, you wanna, that's big.
Yeah, you won't set it off.
That's big, because you see some of them where it's just, you're gonna put the Gemini 12-inch letters above the door, and it's like,
Afterthought.
yes, let's
Let me engineer
think
it.
about it,
Let's go more
and
to it.
so people driving down,
So true.
that are, coming to the sectional games, all that stuff, it's like, man, look what these guys did.
Guys, thank you so much. Thank you everybody for participating and giving their opinion. Time to do it, not after it's built.
We'll see if we can speed things up for you guys.
And we really, as we talk about the heating and air, if this bonding goes through, there was no remonstrance, correct, from the clerk's office.
Nothing from either
So
office.
money is gonna be available within 60 days,
90.
90. So that heating and air, we can get that worked in even sooner than this.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
we're gonna be way, like,
we may have a meeting them on that tomorrow.
I was gonna say, we're right around the corner because
That's
he's
good.
that.
Yeah.
They're working on it, like, I didn't wanna say, where are they? 'Cause
No,
we have an
I get it.
overall projects review meeting every Friday
Everybody's-
morning, and that's when we get our update, but
But I've been in talks with Aaron, our.
because we're already moving on to a few others to get them lined up for, rolling projects.
Exactly.
So it's like when when
Finish
we
one,
start doing
the next.
that, as Jay, it's like, oh, they're wrapping things up. So,
So we'll be in touch on that one pretty shortly.
Well, thank you for everything. We greatly appreciate it.
all right, well,
If there's nothing else and nobody has anything else, we'll adjourn the meeting.
Thank you guys.
good deal. Thank you.